Hello everyone, it is the friendly neighborhood Weasel with my top 5/7 beginner weapons for, of course, new players inside of Warframe. Now, new players, I consider at least, are match rank 0 to 9. So we're going to be having a variety of weapons, so ranging from, of course, primaries to melee weapons. Sadly, no secondaries in this video because I think that secondaries are not as important at lower match ranks anyway. So we're going to be covering some primaries and melee weapons. Couple of disclaimers that I want to say. All the weapons are rank 0. They're not leveled up at all. I'm going to be using a default Excalibur without any abilities used and without any buffs in any sort of way. And I have no pets equipped, so they cannot give me any random buffs, so they might, I guess, skew up or mess around with the actual damages and the statistics of these weapons. And of course, I wanted to mention that leaving a like, a subscription to the channel, and turning on the notification bell would be greatly appreciated by me, of course, the gaming Weasel. And if you have something to comment, you definitely can. So, with that all out of the way, let's get into this top 5, of course, /7 weapons for beginner players. And our first weapon on our list is going to be the Burstin. Now, the Burstin is a mastery rank 0 weapon. It is a burst fire rifle, of course. And now let's check out the stats and what mods should you equip as a beginning player. So it has a default V polarity, which is pretty good. Now, if you don't know, this is a V polarity, this is a D polarity, and this is a dash polarity. The stats that I look for in a weapon are critical chance, the critical multiplier, the status chance, and the main IPS. Now, IPS is impact, slash, and puncture, and it has 10 of each and a total of 30 damage, which is pretty good, so it's equally distributed. Now, the critical chance is pretty low, but we do not mind that this is a low rank. So the video doesn't go on for hours and hours on end. We're going to be equipping a half modded Serration, which is a mod that is a must-have for primary weapons. And equipping it in the corresponding slot will reduce its mod capacity, or I guess requirement, by half. So this mod, to rank it up to level 5, is going to take you around 600 endo, which is not going to be that difficult to get and is going to pay off immensely. So it will increase the damage up to 57, and let's summon ourselves some enemies so we can, of course, so we can, show off the weapon and how it plays. We're going to be summoning Elite Arid Lancers, because these will be your basic enemy that you're going to be fighting inside, for example, Mars. So we're going to be summoning, for example, let's say 10 of these, and let's summon Elite Lancers, and 10 of those. I'll just go there, and let's say rank 15, which should be the rank that you're going to be fighting these enemies at. So, as you can see, I did turn on invincibility. Actually, no, I didn't. Oh, no. Kill the enemies. Clear. Invincibility, there you go. Because if I pause the AI, then they're gonna take stealth damage, and we do not want that. So, as you can see, it is pretty much taking care of these enemies pretty decently. Now, the Arid Lancers have a little bit more armor, so these are these guys. As you can see, they're taking, a little bit less damage than the normal enemies. The Elite Lancers you're going to be seeing more of, because these are in almost every single Grineer tile set. I chose these enemies because they have a higher armor value, so they take a little bit less damage, and I personally think that these are the best enemies to demonstrate the weapon's prowess, or I guess powers. So, as you can see, modded with just Serration, we're doing pretty good. We're killing the enemies. For match rank 0 weapon, this is a very decent weapon to have. Killing the enemies at a decent pace, but not the best, of course. You could do a little bit better. So, moving on to the second weapon in our list. Our second weapon in our list is going to be the Boltor. Now, the Boltor is a Mastery rank 2 weapon, and let's go check out its stats. So, let me just de-equip those. Whoops. It has a default D polarity, which is decent enough. Has, of course, a decent fire rate. It is fully auto, which is pretty good. Decent critical chance, decent critical multiplier, and of course, it has impact as its main damage type, totaling up to 25 damage. So, of course, let's equip our Serration here. And if you possibly don't have any other mods and you want to equip something, equip the Point Strike Critical Chance mod, and you will get extra critical chance. So that's pretty cool. Even though I consider critical weapons weapons where you mod for critical chance above 15%, but you know, you can try your luck. Of course, it is always a chance, and more damage is more damage for a new player. So we're going to be summoning the same enemies, the Elite Air Lancers and the Ordinary Elite Lancers. As you can see, with the Ordinary Lancers, we're basically making quick work with those guys, and even the Elite Lancers don't, you know, pose much of a threat to us because it is, of course, a fully automatic weapon. It has a higher magazine capacity than the Burston, has 60 rounds, which is pretty good. I have no idea why the enemies are attracted to my, as you can see, my cursor. They're basically flying where my cursor is. I have no idea why that's going on. I know impact as, I guess, a damage type. Sticks enemies to walls, but apparently these enemies stick to my mouse, which is something quite interesting. Or maybe that is supposed to happen. I have no idea anymore. But as you can see, this weapon is pretty decent with Serration on. It is shredding through enemies without any issues, and you're not going to be having any problems with enemies that you're going to be coming across. So basically, that was our second weapon, the Boltor. Moving on to the third weapon in our list. And at number 3, we have a little bit of a mix-up. We have a melee weapon. It is the Galatine, which is a Master Rank 3 weapon. Now, let's show you how to mod this melee weapon. You might be noticing that it has a different slot. Now, all melee weapons have this slot. This slot is called a stance slot. Now, if you have the stance, you can equip it, and of course, if you have the corresponding symbol up here, it will double the mod capacity. Now, not the total mod capacity, but as you can see in the top left corner of the mod, top right corner, sorry, it says 5. If I equip this, it's gonna give me 10 additional capacity, so that is very, very cool. Now, for the sake of this video, I'm not gonna be equipping these stance mods because you might not have them and you might not have the additional capacity. So we're just going to be basically modding this weapon as you would normally. Now, it has a default dash slot, which is really, really cool. 10% critical chance, 2.0 critical multiplier, and 172 slash with a total of 182. So slash is very, very cool. So for melee weapons, we have a mod called Pressure Point. If you get yourself a normal pressure point instead of the broken one, or damaged one I think it's called, it will increase your melee damage by 120%, which is very, very cool. It will increase the total damage to 400. Now also, you can equip mods such as True Steel, which is going to increase your critical chance, and of course maximum 120 if you can max it out possibly. And it will increase to 12% in my situation, or you can even equip a range mod, which is going to be pretty cool, increase the range of your melee weapon. But for the sake of this video, we're just going to be equipping Pressure Point and True Steel. So let's summon ourselves level 30 heavy gunners and see how this weapon performs. So basically, you're just going to be pressing your E key to melee these enemies, and as you can see, you're killing them pretty decently. You know, you're not taking your sweet time, but you are damaging them pretty good. Now, having a tankier Warframe would be pretty good if you're gonna go melee only, because, of course, you're right in the face of the enemy. So, if you are gonna be doing that, be ready to tank a lot of damage. So, Rhino would be very, very cool here. But, as you can see, as I did equip it right now, it is a pretty decent weapon. I'm slashing the enemies, you know, doing pretty decent damage to them, basically chopping off their health, you know, little by little. But of course, you can hit multiple enemies, so that's another cool benefit of melee weapons, and the damage doesn't fall off by range, so that is very, very cool. So as you can see, you can do those little finisher moves as well if the enemy is knocked down. You also have heavy attacks. that was a slam attack. So if you fly in the air and basically aim towards the ground, you're gonna do a slam attack. If you, well, he was on the ground there, but if you hold your middle mouse button, you're gonna do a heavy attack, which will ragdoll the enemy, at least with the Galatine. With some other, I guess, melee weapons, you're not gonna be ragdolling them. You're just going to be stunning them for a little bit. It is really dependent on the melee weapon itself. So there you go, and of course you can also slide, which can do a little bit more damage. So as you can see, I can go slide and do more damage that way. So melee weapons are pretty good because you can, of course, use different combos and, strike from the air, from the ground, and cool stuff like that. So that is very, very cool considering melee weapons. So moving on to number 4. And at number 4, we have another primary, but this time we have a shotgun. Now, this shotgun is called the Heck. It is a Master Rank 4 weapon, and it is very, very decent, equipped with 2 very good mods. Now, as you can see, the stats look like this. This is modded, so keep that in mind. I'm just going to go switch to this page so you can see the default stats. Shotguns, I think 99% of the shotguns have a multi-shot as another base stat. Some primary weapons may have it, but most of them won't. So projectiles fire per shot without consuming additional ammo, and each projectile has its own chance to apply critical hits or status effects. So pretty decent critical chance, pretty decent critical multiplier, and of course puncture as its main damage type with a total of 525 damage. So instead of serration, because shotguns cannot equip serration, we have point blank, and a mod that if you have the 10 platinum and that you can trade with other players with, this is going to cost you 10 platinum, not more. The Scattered Justice mod. This will increase your multi-shot by 200%, totaling up to 2,992 damage. So let's test this out against level 30 heavy gunners and see how this weapon performs. So basically, aim for the head, of course, as usual, as in you would do in most shooters, and just decimate your enemies. Now, if your aim is not as bad as mine is, you're gonna be basically one-shotting these enemies. Now, of course, it does have damage drop off, keep that in mind, as most weapons do. But if you are pretty close to the enemy and you can tank the damage, you're gonna be killing them in one shot. Now, level 30 is a decent level. Maximum that you can possibly reach at like the starting stages on the sword chart is level 50 to 40, so you do not have to worry about that. This weapon can carry you through the whole of the sword chart without any issues, especially with at least these 2 mods equipped. If you equip this weapon with more mods like Hell's Chamber, which will increase your multi-shot even more, this weapon can decimate enemies without any issues at all. So the Heck is a must pick up in my book, and if you possibly get the chance, which you will, and it's not that hard to craft anyway, I would definitely recommend this weapon. So moving on to number 5. And at number 5, sorry, we have the Guandao. This is a Master Rank 4 melee weapon. It is a Tonfas weapon. And this is actually one of the hidden gems, I think, at Master Rank 4. This is a really, really good mod. Good weapon. We have 3 stances here. We have Shimmering Blight, Bleeding Willow, and Twirling Spire. So this is a polearm, not a Tonfas. But as I said, no equipping these stance mods. Basically, the critical chance is very, very good. Definitely mod this weapon for crit. The critical multiplier is really good as well, and slash as its main IPS. This weapon is very, very good, totaling up to 202 damage. So let's go and equip our pressure point. As you can see, it has 2 polarities, so it has a V and a D polarity, which is very, very good. So we have reduced mod capacity, which means I will be equipping the True Steel, I guess maxed out. Actually, no, just for the sake of this video, we're going to be equipping the normal True Steel, increasing our critical chance to 33% and our total damage to 444. So again, level 30 heavy gunners, and basically it has decent range, very good slash, because slash is of course good against flesh. The base stance is okay. You kind of lose momentum on the final finish, but it's good nonetheless. The heavy attack is very good. As you can see, this guy's full health. He loses half of his HP just by me heavy striking him. As you can see, let me just demonstrate it on multiple enemies. It knocks them down, opens them up to finishes, which is very cool. Let's just do a slam attack, of course, knocking the enemy down. But, of course, without any stance, this weapon is not personally the best, just because you sort of lose that momentum. And I do have my Hex still equipped, so, you know, maybe mixing it up a little bit, not going full melee. But this is a very good weapon. Now, just for the heck of it, I'm going to be demonstrating this weapon, so clearing and killing all the enemies. I'm going to be equipping a stance on it, and I'm going to be equipping one of the easiest ones to get is Shimmering Blight, increasing our mod capacity even more. And now, let's equip, of course, the maxed out True Steel mod, and let's equip the Organ Shatter mod if I can find it. But sadly, I do not have an unranked one, so I'm not going to be doing that. So now, if we look at the stats, we have 61% critical chance, and everything else basically stayed the same, but the stance is very good because, as you will be seeing now, we have a different sort of combo type, and your movements do not get stopped. You basically just continue slashing the enemies without any issues, and we're killing them much faster. So basically shows you what a different stance could do to a weapon. As you can see, you charge up your I guess heavy attack, and you do much more damage, of course, because of the increased critical chance. And now you could, of course, equip Organ Shatter, which is going to increase your critical damage as well, which would be very beneficial on this weapon. If you were to max this weapon out and use a little bit more, it could carry you basically to the star chart, same as the Heck. And increasing the, of course, attack speed with the Fury mod would be very good as well. So, basically, that was our 5th melee weapon, or our 5th weapon in general. Moving on to number 6. And at number 6, we have another melee weapon. It is the Dual Zoran. Now, the Dual Zoran is a Mash Rank 2 weapon. Kind of forgot about this one, but it's here now. A very good weapon. 25% critical chance, 3.0 critical multiplier, which is very good. Slash as its main IPS. The range is pretty decent as well, and the attack speed is good as well. So, for the stances, we have Crossing Snakes, Carving Mantis, and Swirling Tiger. I would equip Swirling Tiger if I have it. It's not that hard of a mod to get, but as I said, not equipping it for this video. We do have a default D polarity, which is okay. Now let's go equip ourselves Pressure Point and equip ourselves True Steel. So this will increase our critical chance to 30% and our total damage to 154 compared to our 70. So, again, heavy gunners, level 30, you know, showing off those enemies. And as you can see, this weapon strikes really fast. Compared to the Guandao, it strikes much faster. The default, I guess, combo without any stance equipped does not stop you at any point. And of course, the heavy attack is good as well. As you can see, it looks pretty cool. The finisher is fast and nimble. Basically, this weapon is like a Guandao with less range, a little bit less critical chance, better critical multiplier, but much faster speed at default. And the default, I guess, stance without any stance equipped, which sounds very strange, is much better because there's no stoppage while you are mashing your E button on the enemies. A very good melee weapon, especially at Mash Rank 2. If you pair this with the Boltor, you're basically set for the next couple of Masher ranks. So that was the Dual Zoran. Moving on to number 7. And before we move on to the final spot, we have our honorable mentions. For primaries, we have the Kerek, which is a Masher Rank 1 primary assault rifle, a very decent damage assault rifle at Masher Rank 1. We have, of course, the Soma, which is a Masher Rank 6 assault rifle, a very good assault rifle at Masher Rank 6. if you possibly can. Further down the line, get the Soma Prime. You will be surprised by what weapon this weapon can do. But of course, at this master rank, at this point where you have the Soma Prime, you have much better alternatives. And we also have the Baza, which is a level or master rank 7 as silenced SMG. A very, very good SMG to have. It's fun. Not maybe the best in master rank 6, but it is an honorable mention, and it is a very decent weapon to have. Now for melee weapons, we have the Nikana, which is a master rank 8 weapon if I'm not mistaken. We also have the dual Kamas, if I can search it up. The dual Kamas is a master rank 2 weapon. No, it's a master rank 1 weapon. There you go. I figured it out. My brain started working. And also you can get yourself, let me just find that weapon. You can get yourself the dual fangs, or the Fang Prime, which is a dual dagger weapon. Not that expensive to get either, so pretty good. I forgot what master rank it is. I'll leave it on the screen somewhere on there. If not, search it up on the wiki. I'm sorry. But we also have the Tepidel, which is pretty decent as well. So. It might actually say here. No, it doesn't. Never mind. But those were my honorable mentions. And moving on to number 7 and our last spot. And at number 7 in our last spot, we have my favorite past weapon and my most used weapon inside of Warframe. It is the Paris Prime. Now, this is the Prime variant of the Paris bow. And this weapon is a master rank 8 weapon. Now you might be saying, well, Gaming Weasel, this is definitely not one of the most useful weapons at master rank 8. Of course, yes, the Ignis Wraith exists, the Exultra exists, of course, that is all fine and dandy, but for those weapons you need a decent amount of forma and setup as well. But those weapons are really good. If you can get yourself a free Ignis Wraith, that weapon is going to be simply amazing and one of the best weapons that can carry you through most of the mid game. And also the Exultra, another great weapon. I just mentioned this weapon because for new players it is easier to get. It doesn't require that much modding capacity, modding in itself. And of course it is a very good weapon. Now of course paired with, for example, Stealth Warframe, this weapon can be even more versatile because you're not going to be dying as much. Now let's check out the stats. Now mine is maxed out, yes, and as you can see we have a little bit more mods here. Now this is because at this point I'm at rank 8, you know, you have maybe put some form on these weapons, and I would definitely put an Orkin Catalyst on this weapon. It costs 20 platinum, and at master rank 8 you should be able to have any issues with, of course, getting yourself platinum. So point strike for critical chance duration still at 50%. We're not gonna be increasing this because it will require a decent sum of endo to actually max this out. So keeping this here. I'll actually keep Vigilante Armaments. This is a mod that you can get through the Blades of Eidolon, so pretty easy to get. Vital Sense, Fast Hands, and Split Chamber. So let's go show what the weapon does. We're summoning a 20 Corrupted Heavy Gunners, so these are the heavy gunners that you're going to be meeting in the Void, and they are level 40. So let's summon and see what this weapon does. So as you can see, the charge up time is pretty decent with the increased real speed. It has innate punch through, so it's going to pierce through enemies. The exact amount I'll read in just a second, or it's going to be on the screen right now, just so you know. But as you can see, you can of course fast fire it as well. It's really good at fast firing as well, even if you don't hit the head. But if you do hit the head, of course more critical damage, and of course more damage in and of itself. So charge the shot if you possibly can, but if you want to, you can always just fire the shot like this. As you can see, we're doing very good amounts of damage. This weapon is, in my opinion, one of the best weapons for Master Rank 8 players. Not that hard to get. This weapon should cost you more than 30 to 40 platinum to get. And if you were to grind it out, it's not going to take you a long time because it is a pretty easy weapon to get. And now it has a punch through of 3 meters, which is very good. The critical chance, when I boost it up, it has 112% critical chance, 4.4 multiplier. Status is 20%, but it does have innate puncture, which is okay. That is the quick shot, and the charge shot is basically stays the same. It's just the damage is increased a little bit as well. Of course, if you were to equip a maxed out Serration, if I can find it out here, the damage goes way up, and we can even kill a level 50 corrupted heavy gunners, and even 60 if we wanted to, without any issues. Well, at least that is the theory, but as you can see in practice, it's pretty much the same. If they stand still, especially like this, you can pierce them and kill them pretty easily, of course aiming for the head. So there you go. This has been my top 8 weapons and my top 7 weapons and my honorable mentions as well. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys did, leave a like, a comment, and subscribe. I know I missed out on a lot of weapons. Warframe just has a lot of weapons. Of course, if you want to increase your mastery rank, you are going to level those weapons up. So if you find a weapon that you like and that I didn't mention in this list, you can use it, of course. Warframe is a game with a wide variety of weapons to choose from, so you do not have to worry about that. So if you don't like the weapons, I guess leave a dislike or maybe a comment of what weapon you would have chosen for the top pick. So thank you guys so much for watching. This has been the Gaming Weasel, over and out.